Happy Halloween. While you may be watching this well into November, it's October 31st here at the Extra Emerson set, and that means a special Halloween episode. I'm Ken.
I'm Patrick Bateman.
And I'm Guy Fieri. In the spirit of Halloween, it's only fitting we talk about horror films. There have been so many great horror films that have been released in recent years, as well as a constant conversation among fans about how they compare to the so-called classics. First of all, what do you guys define as a horror classic?
Horror classic. I mean, I feel like you can't go wrong with Halloween. For me
Yes.
personally, I love Halloween. It's probably the first horror movie I ever watched. I think my dad threw me in front of the television set when I was like
Interesting.
6, and I was scared out of my mind. So that definitely tops the classic list.
I actually watched Halloween rather recently, maybe like a year or two ago, and I watched the first Halloween immediately followed by the reboot.
Oh, rookie mistake.
Yeah?
Oh, God. Let's stop rebooting classics, but go ahead.
No, I thought it was interesting because it felt like it could be just a direct sequel, and I think it worked well in that regard. Classic horror movie for me, I typically think like stuff before the 90s you call classic horror movie.
Definitely.
I know my favorite classic horror movie is The Thing.
Oh, good pick.
Ooh.
Good pick.
Yeah.
It's a good pick. Exorcist.
Oh,
Yeah,
another
yeah,
good
Why, that's what I have to say. It scared me when I was little, still kind of scares
That's
me
fair.
now.
Yeah, definitely. What about like The Shining? What's the panel's consensus on The Shining?
I really liked The Shining. I was very late to watching The Shining because Doctor Sleep was coming out. And they did like, the theater I went to had a showing of The Shining, and I was like, I want to watch this, and then I watched Doctor Sleep like the next week.
Right.
Again, another thing where it's like, oh wow, this works really well. It's 30, 40 years later,
And
and
it's-
it's a kind of almost a seamless sequel.
Yeah.
I felt like The Shining was disappointing. It was
Wow.
really hyped up, and when I saw it, I'm like, it's not scary, it's not all
Wow.
that.
Wow. I'm kind of speechless to hear that. Can I tell you why I think
Yeah.
it is scary? Is because you said it perfectly. Like, it's not actually a scary movie. Maybe when it first came out, people were genuinely spooked and startled in the
Yeah.
theater. But I think what makes it scary is the fact that it's just unsettling. You're watching someone go through clearly an crazy mental transformation and is turning into like this psychopath. So I think just that kind of story in general is what makes it scary.
Well, that's the thing then. Like, that's the question of what makes a movie like a horror movie and what makes it. You get what I mean? It's like, does a movie have to be traditionally like scary and fall into that horror sort of tropes that we see where it's like there's a lot of violence, people are dying, or is there other aspects of the movies that make them scary, like scary horror movies? Like, I mean, we talk about things, it's very easy to classify for some people like, oh, this is a horror movie. But I mean, there's movies out there that, I mean, I would consider horror movies that aren't traditionally called that.
The original Scooby-Doo.
The original Scooby-Doo.
That's all I have
Yeah.
to say. If you didn't get picked up from a sleepover back in the day from that movie, then you weren't living.
Fair.
I think for me, one is Black Swan.
Oh,
I
That
agree.
movie
Yes.
I agree.
scared me.
Love Black
It's
Swan.
so intense and just terrifying.
yeah. It's extremely unsettling. But I want to circle back to what you were saying before about like kind of like this. What is your maybe like your favorite horror element? You know, and so like you said, what makes it a horror movie? For me, I personally find just like the realism factor of a movie. Like we were talking about it before, Killers of the Flower Moon just came out. I've seen it since the last episode, and like to me that it was scary considering just how real it was and sad. And so I think like
Yeah.
the realism of a movie, for me at least, could be what's most scary.
For me, it's not that part of the realism, but it's the scientific realism of some horror films that I consider to be scary. Not the gore, but the mental state of
Yes.
it.
I do think, and I so valid about Killers of the Flower Moon because for me it's very much where something is very scary for me is when it is a real human element, you know, which is there in the Killers of the Flower Moon. It's like that is what it is. It is not a horror movie, but you're watching just so much death and people do awful things. And I think with Black Swan, that's why it was so scary to me, is because there's no like supernatural things. You're just watching someone spiral. So yeah, I think that for me. Granted, my favorite horror movie is The Thing, and I think it's the paranoia in that, everything could be the monster and you just don't know what or who. So I think that's also just one of my favorite aspects.
Correct me if I'm wrong. The Thing is John Carpenter, right?
Yep.
Okay, so we mentioned Halloween. Who do we think? I'd make the argument that back then, sure, John Carpenter was the king of horror, but now we got people like Ari Aster putting out insanely scary stuff. Jordan Peele, who's just out of nowhere become this unbelievable, masterful, if you will, horror director. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Like, who do you think today is killing it in the horror genre?
After Ari did Midsummer, I don't think that there was something that you could possibly top in that regards. Maybe not modern day horror in the gory sense, but in the sense of the mental capabilities of directing that movie.
Yeah.
There's not a competitor to Midsummer.
It definitely put me into like an existential dread sort of thing.
Yeah.
Just sitting with the end of that movie and going, there's no good out of this situation. It's just bad all the way down.
Well, you need to see Hereditary, because
I do
know we
need
were
to see
talking about
Hereditary.
Like, obviously, I don't think they go. I think I was just talking to you about this sort of with Jordan Peele. I don't think like any of his movies go hand in hand. You can't make the argument that they're in, some same universe. But I do think there is something to be said of, like, similar to Ari Aster's movies with Hereditary, Midsummer. There's something about it that feels similar. Like, I can watch it and say to myself, this is Ari Aster's work.
The style is there.
Yeah, and with the style, like, I felt like when you're watching the movie, he makes something that's not relatable at all in that, in that genre and experiences no one has, seem relatable in the sense of horror, which I don't think anyone else does.
Yeah. I thought Midsummer was terrifying. I thought Hereditary was terrifying. And I thought Us, Get Out, and Nope from Jordan Peele were terrifying.
I feel so awful that I haven't watched those. Oh. Genuinely. I haven't watched a Jordan Peele.
Have to.
I haven't watched a Jordan Peele movie, and I do feel like I've missed out, especially seeing them in theaters.
Wow.
So where were you when the whole viral Get Out went?
I honestly don't know. Genuinely. Get Out was 2019?
Yeah.
Gosh. That was such a good year for movies, too. Yeah, I don't know where I was, what I was doing. There's so many movies that came out that year, though, that were just, it was banger after banger after banger.
Right.
Especially in that second half, because that was Knives Out, that was Parasite, that was 1917.
Right.
God, that was a year for movies.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What about, real quick, what is, you said Scooby-Doo. What's like your most like obscure, this is not a horror movie, but it is. I can make the argument that it is.
Open season.
Wow. Okay.
Fully open season.
Well, I was going to go with The Cat in the Hat. I think that movie's terrifying.
I feel like that's only a you experience.
No. I think The Mask is terrifying. I think Mrs. Doubtfire is terrifying.
Yeah.
I don't have an answer, really. Black Swan was my
okay.
one.
Boom! That concludes our discussion segment. Now to Talia with the news.
Happy Halloween! I'm Talia, back to give the hot topics in the entertainment industry today. A24 has announced that they will be expanding their projects from an art house style to include more mainstream projects, like licensed films and action. A production executive revealed that A24 will still be making dramas, however, not as many of them. According to an acquisition agent, A24 spent the summer searching for these mainstream projects. With this shift, many are afraid that A24 will lose their classic style. On November 6th, Netflix will be having their annual Geeked Week, where sneak peeks and trailers will be revealed for upcoming shows and movies. This year's lineup includes Umbrella Academy Season 4, The Scott Pilgrim vs. the World anime, One Piece Season 2, and dozens more. We've already gotten some first looks for the live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender cast. Press photos were released for Lord Ozai, Princess Azula, Uncle Iroh, and everyone's favorite angsty teenager, Zuko. Keep an eye out for more news on Avatar and many other Netflix shows from November 6th to November 12th. In other First Look news, Disney Plus's adaptation of Percy Jackson has given us some photos of its most crucial cast members. We've already seen pictures of the main cast, but now we have a glance at other demigods as well as their parents, the gods of Olympus. Lance Reddick, Toby Stephens, and Jay Duplass play Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades, respectively, while Charles Bushnell is playing the antagonist, Luke Castellan. Fans of the series are ecstatic over the casting of Jason Mantzoukas as Mr. D, while the glimpse of Lin-Manuel Miranda's character, Hermes, looks like it's just him playing himself. Over 15 promotional photos were released over the last week with other various characters. You can see these characters and more when Percy Jackson and the Olympians releases on Disney Plus on December 20th. New in the SAG-AFTRA strike, SAG-AFTRA has asked actors to not wear Halloween costumes affiliated with characters from the companies they are striking against. Many actors are questioning the union as little progress has been made throughout the duration of the strike, including Meryl Streep, George Clooney, and others who offered on behalf of the highest paid actors to pay $150 million to end the strike. Several theater chains in Europe and a handful of theaters across the world added a short intermission to Martin Scorsese's 3.5-hour Killers of the Flower Moon. Paramount and Apple Original Films, the distributor and producer of the film, respectively have contacted theaters that have violated their contract in splitting up the movie. The film's editor, Thelma Schoonbaker, has called the added intermission a violation. The new Five Nights at Freddy's movie opened to $78 million domestically and $130 million worldwide in its opening weekend. The film only had a budget of approximately $25 million. This massive opening does not include the amount of people who watched it on Peacock, as it was on the streamer the same day of its theatrical release. It is already one of the highest grossing horror films of the year. And that's all we have in terms of news for this episode. But on the subject of FNAF, let's head to JR in the field where he's got a very important question to ask.
Hi, I'm your segment host for today, JR, and we're here to ask the important, hard-hitting questions. FNAF just came out, and we are going to smash or pass on the iconic FNAF characters. We'll be asking about the iconic characters from the first 5 games, as well as Springtrap. Here we go. First up, we have Bonnie.
Ooh.
I'm gonna say Smash.
I think I am gonna have to say Smash.
I'm gonna have to say no.
Smash.
Okay, I love the key. I love the guitar. I'm gonna say Smash. I love a guy who can play guitar.
Look at him, he's playing guitar. That's really hot.
Like, definitely could go to Berkeley. Like, wouldn't be surprised.
I love the guitar. I must say, I love the guitar.
I just love, like, the little purple. Like, I just love some purple.
Purple's a turn off for me.
Ooh.
The purple's a turn off for me. So this is gonna have to be a hard pass.
My thing with Bonnie, because don't get me wrong, love musicians, but the lack of expression because of the lack of eyebrows makes it so that I will not understand whether or not he's enjoying the experience.
Next up, we have Chica.
You know, I gotta say pass.
I'm gonna have to pass, Chica. I'm sorry.
I don't know. Pass.
I would absolutely.
It's just, I don't trust the cupcake. I don't like the cupcake.
I don't want a third party at our little meeting that we're having.
So the cupcake, you don't rock with the cupcake.
I'm not rocking with the cupcake.
There is a bit of a voyeuristic element to the cupcake being present.
I like the cupcake a lot.
Oh, really? It doesn't weird you out at all?
Not as much as I thought it would.
But do you also pass on FNAF 2, Chica?
Oh God, no, that's a MILF. Can I say MILF?
Yes.
Okay, that's a MILF.
Okay, amazing. Next up, Foxy.
I'm gonna say no. Well,
I'm gonna have to say pass on that.
no.
Ooh. So I am gonna have to say pass.
Pass. He does not have a full body.
Yeah.
As a child who used to listen to My Chemical Romance and hugged the hallways, I'm gonna have to say absolutely.
Foxy seems foxy. Smash.
Foxy is not looking that foxy to me. Sorry.
His name gives him a reputation. You can't be named Foxy and not be like hot as hell.
There's just something off, and I'm not sure what it is. It could be the eye patch. It could be the hook. It could be the legs that are kind of disintegrated.
The exposed leg isn't a turnoff.
No, never.
I do love that he's a pirate. I think that's fun.
What about the hook? How are you feeling about the hook?
The hook.
And then we have the man himself, Freddy Fazbear.
Pass. He's ugly. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
He has blue eyes, and that's a no-no.
Pass.
Oh.
No further explanation needed.
Okay. Okay.
I would say Smash because he's iconic.
So I am going to have to smash. Shocker.
Everybody likes Freddy. Let's be real. Everybody likes Freddy.
I just love the little top hat. I just think it really adds to the outfit, especially with the bow.
We love a man in a suit.
Not even like the little top hat or bow tie. Those are turnoffs. Wow.
he looks like he's a Redditor.
Oh.
With the top hat. Like,
So real.
The lead singer in bands usually have like a huge ego, and like I just didn't want to trust that, you know?
Yeah.
It would be so cool to say like, oh, I smashed Freddy. Like,
Exactly. And then, last but certainly not least, Springtrap.
That seems like it'd be a fun time. I can't lie.
it's okay that he kills kids. I can fix him. Smash.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
So I am gonna have to pass just because I'm not into the whole like murder thing.
pass immediately.
No, hard pass.
Listen, not new to lusting for old men, but I think this is where I draw the line.
I'm sorry, that guy is just ugly as hell.
If someone murders people, I just like really don't want to get with them. Yeah.
Murdering kids is a whole nother world of turn off.
Murder is a red flag, guys.
He looks so broken
Yeah.
on the outside. Imagine how broken he is on the inside.
Real. Yay, British people.
Is he? Oh.
He is British.
Well, pass. He just won't talk.
Okay.
He can't talk.
No British. Don't speak. Don't speak. Interesting.
The rotting corpse smell.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. No opinions on the smell of rotting flesh.
No, not currently. No.
Well, there you have it. Seems like people love a guitar and have mixed feelings on the color purple. But Bonnie seems to have won, and Bonnie seems to be everyone's favorite. Thank you so much, and back to you guys in the studio.
Welcome back to Flavor Town. For this extra special game segment, we wanted to honor the Queen of Halloween herself, Heidi Klum. For those of you who don't know, every year on this day, Heidi Klum hosts a large Halloween party with the largest names in film and entertainment.
Each year, Heidi comes out in some wild and extremely expensive costume, seemingly topping herself every year. While she hasn't revealed what her costume for this year is yet, we wanted to take a stab at drawing our guesses for what she will be. We'll have 2 minutes to draw on these beautiful poster boards, and then we'll explain what we've drawn. Is everyone ready? Time starts now.
Okay.
Cool.
What am I working with?
Oh, I thought this was not going to be that color.
The neck is too small already.
I'm kidding.
Oh, it's not as horrible as I thought it was going to be. Oh, do we have? Does anyone have blue? Does anyone have? She's.
Oh god. What do you think?
Wait, are you showing each other?
Are we going for this like a similar thing?
No.
Right. Okay.
I'm nerve.
Okay.
Heidi Klum could never.
She's gonna hate me after seeing this.
Sorry.
I don't have my glasses
No,
on.
no,
Oh, that's
that
it. That's
ruined
the,
it. No. Okay, time's up. Time's up. Time's up. Marker's down. Marker's down. Okay. Marker's down. Marker.
Okay.
Did you see my spidey senses? Okay. All right. I'm gonna start with mine. I think she's gonna be a peacock.
Wow.
Oh.
Okay.
Last, because yours is
No.
definitely the best.
Okay, so there's like nothing going on over here. No, okay, because I feel like, you know, this would be expensive, and then she could also be kind of weird, but then she'd also look really good.
Yeah.
So I feel like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what the red dots were. I feel like I just needed color, and then I just was
Oh,
like,
it looks good.
thank
That's a
you.
fantastic drawing.
Oh my God, thank you. Her face is coming off a little bit. But
Okay.
yeah.
I like it a lot.
Okay.
It's very good.
Okay, awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
I digress. I mean, like, I can't do better than that.
I can't.
Ours are like oddly similar.
We both went for things that fly.
Wait, the bird idea is sticking.
We also,
Yes.
you went, yes, yours.
Heidi Airways, baby. There it is.
I thought that was the submarine.
This is a rocket ship.
Is this clearly not an airplane?
I mean, her face is the window.
No. She's like at the front of the plane.
No, is she the pilot?
She is like the front of the, how the front of the plane
Oh, like
is
how a pirate ship has like the mermaid. She is.
Yeah.
Yes.
There it is.
Okay.
There it
Got
is.
it.
Speaking
I
of
understand.
mermaid,
Yeah.
Speaking of mermaids,
caught a glimpse.
class and all of that.
Oh,
I
my
give it all to
She
Heidi.
looks great. What
Look at all
happened to
the
her arm?
colors.
Has Heidi not been a mermaid yet?
Heidi has a cyst. On accident.
I like how colorful it is.
Thank you so
A lot of blue and gold.
She looks
Love it.
great.
She's giving rainbow fit.
Yeah, of course.
Heidi rocket ship.
Yeah.
I
Let's all
also
hold
think
them up
so.
for center camera.
Yeah, I love that.
Look at
I'm
this
loving that.
artistic prowess on display here at Extra Emerson.
I just
Oh,
hit my
yeah.
right ear. with-
This is
We go to art
at its
school.
finest.
We go to art
We go
school.
to art school.
We do.
We go
I
to
actually
art
took a
school.
class just so that I could.
Yeah,
that
scene
art,
painting was
my
made for
drawing
this.
skills.
I agree.
Can't you see it paid off?
I have a friend
I
who's
know
a
my
literal
professor's
rocket
proud.
scientist, by the way.
Well, speaking of that, all right, that concludes our Halloween special. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to Heidi Klum for simply being Heidi Klum. We'll see you next time.